Yo, it's your boy Marcus from West Indies back from the video. Today we're going to be talking about some football, some fantasy football, and then just my predictions for the season. If you don't watch football, you're probably not going to be interested in this, but there is a gameplay here for you to watch. This is just me, MG42 on Summit. Anyway, fantasy football is going to be the main focus, and then we'll talk about my football predictions for the season, my Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys, for anybody not sure what I'm talking about, and who I think is winning the Super Bowl, who are my picks. So right here, this is my first team. This is a full PPR 10-man league. And so I got Hurts. First round, I took CD. Then I took JT in the second round, Kyron in the third, Hurts in the fourth, Evans in the fifth, and then I believe Flowers, then Njoku. So that's my team on the starting end. Pretty good. I'm projecting the most points in the league in week one. So we'll see how it goes. It's kind of hard to put your bias aside. Like if you have a favorite team, to not draft people from your favorite team. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to do that sometimes, especially if you have a really good player like CD. So here on the bench, Trey Benson, Zach Charbonnet, backups just in case somebody gets injured, just like Rico. Jerome Ford's supposed to be the starter, so that should be interesting to see what happens there. Jacoby Myers is requesting trades. Don't know how good that pick is. Got Dak just in case he ends up throwing for 4,000 yards again and 38 touchdowns again. Rashee Rice, so in week 7 when he comes back from his suspension, he'll be hopefully a wide receiver 1 in fantasy, and then Javonte Williams. Hopefully, Rashee Rice coming back might be, I'm interested to see what happens, because we saw him play for 3 weeks before whatever happened last year, and he was amazing, right? He was great. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens to him going forward. It's a pretty big deal. As for the overall, this is probably not my favorite team. This is probably like my second favorite team that I drafted, right? This was my last draft, right? So I already got 2 practice drafts in for this one. And then like 2 real drafts in. So I could actually kind of see like who I wanted, who was going where, the strategy behind it, like what my idea was. In 10 team, and in this year, like all of my picks were 1-4, the 1-5, and the 1-6, so the middle of the draft. And so, wide receiver, RB was my strategy. Here, though, I had the 1-4, and Bijan fell to me. I thought he would have went higher, so I took Bijan. Then I really liked Chase Brown, so I took him in the second round. And then Bucky was there in the third, and I just decided, you know what, I'll take him. But this was my first draft. I probably didn't do this right. So that being said, that's how I went about it. Then got Worthy, Egbuka, Bo Nix, and Tyler Warren. Not my best, but, I'm sticking it out, right? Then I got Charbonnet, Metcalf, Olave, Otten, Rashee Rice again, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Rashad White. Bunch of backups in there on the bench right there, just in case they end up having a starting role. Charbonnet is a great backup to have because Kenneth Walker's pretty injury prone. So if he gets hurt, Charbonnet comes in every season that he gets hurt, and he just delivers like 18 points a game, and he's phenomenal. So you know what you're getting if Kenneth Walker gets hurt. Charbonnet is going to be there and be your probably a RB1 in fantasy football in the weeks that Kenneth Walker's hurt. That's just how I look at that situation. Not everybody's that way. Some people are like super high on Kenneth Walker. I'm not. That's just me personally. I wasn't like a big fan of his in college or anything like that. So that's why I kind of look at it with that sort of outlook. I also saw like DK Metcalf goes really early in drafts, but he's not projected a lot of points. So I don't really know how to feel about him. But I took him just because he's a huge individual. Like he's one of the biggest receivers in the NFL. And I feel like he could be pretty good given that he's in Pittsburgh now with Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball. I think he'll have a solid fantasy season, probably like, 1,300 yards and like 8 touchdowns. I feel like that's reasonable if he ends up being the primary receiver in that offense. Unless like they really do run the ball that much, that'll change things. That being said, let's get into this final team here. This is my favorite team and the one I drafted second. First round, I took Jamar Chase at the 104, I think. And then Devon Achane in the second round, Chase Brown in the third. In the fourth, I took Trey McBride, then Lad McConkey, then Xavier Worthy. Insane draft. I feel like this team is godlike. This is a half PPR league. That's why the points look different. than the first two ones I showed you. So the first two are full PPR. That means you get points per reception. So 1 point per reception, whereas in this league, it's half a point per reception. Braylon Allen, Zach Charbonnet, Travis Hunter, Khalil Shakir, Cedric Tillman, Tyrone Tracy, and Javonte on the bench. A lot of these bench players, I'm just hoping end up getting the starting job and becoming something like this season and like being like viable fantasy options. Or if like Breece Hall gets traded, then Braylon Allen's automatically going to be a fantasy option. So just things like that. I also took Cedric Tillman. I'm kind of higher on him than most people probably are. If Joe Flacco is the starting quarterback, I don't know why people think that Joe Flacco is like nothing. I don't know what is up with that. I know he's old, but for fantasy, he's great because whoever he's throwing the ball to is going to get catches, right? He doesn't run the ball a lot. He's not like Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, right? When he drops back, he's probably either going to dump it off to the running back or throw it away, right? He's not going to run away. You know what I mean? He's slow. And he's old. So I like Cedric Tillman, maybe Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku. I think those are solid options if you haven't had your fantasy draft yet. For a lot of you guys, this isn't relevant to you at all. You have no idea what I'm talking about, but that's okay. Hopefully the gameplay was entertaining enough for you to stick around. Diving into my season predictions, right, for the Dallas Cowboys, I'm picking us to go 10-7. We're going to lose to a lot of teams we're supposed to lose to, like the Chiefs. I think we lose to the Packers. We'll split with the Eagles. We'll split with the Commanders. I think we'll lose to, I believe, Detroit we might play this season. All the good teams I think we'll lose to, but we'll beat all the teams we're supposed to beat, and we'll probably split in the division a bunch. I got a feeling Dak will hopefully stay healthy this year. That's my prediction, that we kind of maintain a certain level of health with the primary options like CD, Dak, George Pickens. We put up a lot of points, and we lose because our defense gives up a lot of points. That's my prediction. I think we'll probably make the playoffs in the wild card spot, losing the first round to whoever we play. It should be interesting to see how that goes. I think 10-7 is reasonable, as opposed to like 9-8. I think we can get 10, but I'm also kind of optimistic with that. So I think we probably just squeak in behind the Commanders and the Eagles. I do have the Commanders winning the division this year because nobody's won the NFC East in back-to-back seasons in 27 years. So, yeah, don't think that's starting now. That being said, that's pretty much all I got for that. With my Super Bowl predictions, I'm going to go, it's tough to do, man, but I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills finally getting over the hump because the Bengals beat the Chiefs, so they don't have to play them. The Bills get over the hump, and they play the Rams in the Super Bowl and beat the Rams. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications if you want to. It's been your boy Marcus from West Indiana. I'm out. Peace.